Hey, what's up, everyone? And talk a little bit about what is the biggest threat to the U.S. And I'm sure most of you already know this, but it's China. And so China's basically waging war on the United States on multiple fronts, just not militarily. And this whole situation going on over there between Russia and the Ukraine. China's the big winner with all that because all the sanctions that we're doing uh, to target the Russian economy. Well, China's got Putin's back. That SWIFT thing, they got a system to replace it. You know, as far as the oil, if the U.S. doesn't take any of Russia's oil, that's just a small amount. We got to get Europe on board to do that. And even if they do, it looks like China can buy up a bunch of that oil at cheap prices. So, China's the big winner. Meanwhile, over here in the U.S. Department of Agriculture says that as of 2019, foreign investors owned at least 35.2 million acres of U.S. agricultural land. Well, agricultural land's a pretty big thing right now because the whole situation going on in Ukraine, food production, they're saying food prices might shoot through the roof even more so than they already are. And the food production, I heard last year you had the likes of those filthy rich scumbags, what's his name? Micropeep guy. I can picture his face right now. I can't think of his name. Gates. And then that other rich guy, I think it was the Bezos guy. They're buying up a bunch of agricultural land. Seems like they knew something, way back when they started buying all this stuff up. Talk about knowing stuff and buying stuff ahead of time. Our boy Jesse Waters on Fox News today was talking about how a bunch of senators and Congress members on both sides of the aisle, scumbag Republicans and scumbag Democrats, back in January, the likes of which some of these people sit on very important committees that have to do with national security or with energy. Well, what are these people doing? Buying a bunch of stocks that have to do with energy or the military industrial complex. And you got some of these people who are these scumbag Democrats always yapping on and on about the so-called climate change. And they're out buying stock in companies that drill for oil. The hypocrisy knows no end. We all know that they don't give a fuck about the environment and that the whole climate change thing is not what they claim it is to be. If it was, they wouldn't be buying a bunch of stock in companies that drill for fossil fuels. And then you got the likes of all those Pelosi types and Barack Hussein Obama and all the likes of them telling you that the ocean sea levels are going to rise and that, we're all going to die in X amount of time, which always seems to get revised. They're buying beachfront property. What kind of person that thinks that the sea levels is going to be rising up here in less than a decade, they're going to buy beachfront property? Anyways, this whole situation with China, they have over $1 billion worth of agriculture land, close to $2 billion. Then you got residential real estate, at least according to the National Association of Realtors. Chinese nationals are the largest foreign buyers of property. I guess they bought something like $11.5 billion with the B in 2020. food, energy, medicine. These are things that need to be controlled by Americans in America. But we got the Chinese, the second largest foreign owner of land over there down under in Australia. So a bunch of Chinese nationals, they bought an island over there, and then they banned Australians from living on it. They also got a 100-year lease on some airport over there, and now Australian citizens, they need Chinese approval to land at that airport. China owns the airspace over that airport. So we got Representative Chip Roy. He's introduced a bill to prevent this type of problem from occurring in the United States. But we all know that the Democrats control Congress, so it's not going to pass because those Dems, they're in bed with the CCP, figuratively and literally. They got that one guy, what was it? Swalwell, banging old Fang Fang over there. And then you had that broad here from California, and she's from what I hear, she's worse off than Pelosi and Biden as far as, cognitive decline due to age. And I don't know how old she is, but she's the one. She had a Chinese spy that was her personal attendant or chauffeur or something like this. This guy was driving her around for over 20 years. I can't think of her name either. Maybe I got cognitive decline. I could picture her face. If I remember it, I'll mention her name. I'm sure you guys know who I'm talking about, though. So, that bill by Chip Roy is probably going to go down, but hopefully they can pass these type of bills in each individual state. So at least Republican-controlled states might have a better chance at passing this type of legislation, because we all know Democrats aren't going to do it, and it's probably a struggle to get the Republicans to do it too, because those scumbags, a bunch of them are in bed with the CCP as much as Democrats are, and when China decides to go into Taiwan, was anyone going to be able to do all these economic sanctions against the Chinese? You think that the economic sanctions on Russia has an effect on the U.S. economy? These type of sanctions on the CCP would have far greater effect on the U.S. economy, because we're so interwoven with them, because the dumb leaders of the U.S. ever since the 90s. So yes, we have both parties guilty of this. They had the theory that doing more trade with them and conducting more business with them, that it would liberalize their economy, and then their politics would follow. Well, that's obviously didn't pan out. And Trump tried to warn everyone about this, but, people didn't like that he made mean tweets, and they called Trump all kinds of names over it. And now the birds come home to roost, or whatever that saying is. So it's not only land that the Chinese own now, they also own large agribusinesses that own U.S. farmland. So I guess this company called Smithfield is the largest pork producer in the U.S. Chinese firm bought that not too long ago. And what happened during the pandemic? Smithfield, they increased pork exports to China during the time that the U.S. was experiencing meat shortages due to the supply chain issues, right? And this supply chain disruptions were, thanks courtesy of that cold and flu thing that came from wherever it came from. We all know where it came from. And the stupid, tyrannical response that the local, state, and federal governments had here. So we'll see, in all the states where such measures were proposed, these measures to keep the Chinese nationals from buying up too much real estate here in the U.S. got shot down by Democrats because they all oppose it. And some of the Republicans were in on shooting down this legislation. So we'll see if any of that comes through. But, stuff like this, China's going to end up attaining their goals without the need for any military intervention. So, we got right now all this divesting and stopping all types of trade and whatnot with the Russians, and all these virtue signalers were quick to do that when it came to China. Are they going to do that Russia? But when it comes to China, because it's only a matter of time before they go into Taiwan, these people going to do the same type of thing? I mean, I hope so. People better be ready to tighten their belts, but I don't think it's going to happen. We see it all the time with, LeBronda runs her mouth off about all kinds of crap, but likes to bend over with no Vaseline when it comes to China. And the whole NBA does that. All this virtue signaling about all kinds of bullshit, made up issues here in the States. Meanwhile, not word one about all the crap going on over there in China. So anyways, I just wanted to make sure I get a video out about our friends over there in the East, the CCP, because, we need to make sure that we keep our eye on the real problem, which is China. All right, everyone. Hope you liked this video. Smash the like button, subscribe, and share this out. Thanks a lot, and I hope you all have a great weekend.